Hi, y'all. Welcome back to Discus Talk. Today I've got with me our favorite Carrie Strong, and I've got Michael Wells and Mitchell Wells from Ohio Valley Discus and Friends.
Hey
Welcome to the show.
y'all.
And I want to say hi, everybody. I haven't seen you guys in forever, but we are back. Today we're going to talk about what it's like behind the scenes at Ohio Valley Discus. We're going to get to see their fish room. So, Michael, you and Mitchell are just starting back up after a long absence. So,
Yeah,
how's that going so far?
yes, it was a long absence. It I got out of Discus, I'd say probably in 2003. And then it wasn't until he called me up one day and one of his relatives was giving him a tank. And he knew that I kept Discus and messaged me one day and talked to me and said, "Hey, expressed interest." And I said, "Well, we've got to figure out what your water's at, because where I live, I can't, our well, we don't produce water that is conducive to raising discus."
Right.
And he went and he mail ordered or Amazon for a test kit, and we kind of played with the water a little bit, and everything was good, and kind of all started from there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we did a little bit of playing with it and stuff like that. Got it right. I mean, it's great that the water supply here has been awesome for the last 5 months. I'm surprised. I've never seen someone have a well this great. We're pretty grateful for it. Like,
Right.
but needless to say, my girlfriend's grandma was giving us a 55 gallon, and I told my dad about that, and he said, "Well, that ain't big enough." So next thing you know, I started looking around online, and I found a setup. It was just 475 gallons
In Pittsburgh.
up in Pittsburgh. So we went and picked them up.
And on the way home,
On the way home, well, we didn't know where we were going to get fish from or anything. And Dad's like, "Well, the only guy I trust is Carrie." And he says, "I don't even know if Carrie's got discus anymore." It's like, I haven't talked to Carrie in 20
20
years.
years.
So before you know it, we're searching the web trying to find Carrie's number. And
Mhm.
for some reason, Carrie's had the same number for at least 20 years because we got a hold of him. And yeah, it's been pretty awesome. We ran up there, seen Carrie, saw his pond in his yard and all the fish that he's got going on up there, and it's been a pretty good ride so far.
Right. So, how many tanks do you have running right now?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably about 12, but 12 to 14 tanks, but they're all, that's just the big grow tanks. They're all,
Yeah.
we went large this time. We went with 75s and above. So we got a bunch of 125s, 75s,
We got
120s.
1029 breeders.
Yeah,
So,
this
you're
wasn't
running
going
a
to
lot of gallons, but a few tanks.
Yeah.
be right.
Got it. So, how many breeding pairs do you have right now?
Oh, probably. I think we're working with 6 right now.
Okay.
Working with them.
Yeah, we have room for more. We have more that we're probably gonna, as soon as we're done here, we're probably going to be pulling a couple and
Right.
placing a couple more up. Carrie hooked us up with a nice pair of it was a golden spotted pigeon blood cross, and I didn't want Mitchell being new to get burned out just raising fish. I
Right.
wanted him to see it right away and experience a breeding pair and all those things that goes into
Right.
raising fish.
And see, a lot of people don't realize that breeding is fairly easy, but raising them is something totally different.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
So
100%.
a lot of people don't know that. They think, "Oh, I'm going to raise some discus," when it's actually easier to go ahead and get them adult to start out. A lot of people just starting out do need to start with adults rather than the juveniles.
Yeah, so we kind of did both things. We imported, or not imported, we brought fish in from Cary, Golden State, and other sources, Hugh, and started raising them. And in the meantime, to keep things going, maybe pay the bills a little bit, so to speak. We had a pair from Carrie, and everything's kind of went from there, and it's actually worked out pretty well.
Absolutely.
What you got going on over there, Carrie?
What, behind me?
Yeah.
Just a batch of blue diamonds, and then there was a few snakeskin blue diamond crosses. So they're like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a month younger. But out of that batch, there were a couple monsters. So I put them with the blue diamonds because they already reached their size.
Okay.
So they're going to be bigger males, but that's not always the case. It's not always true. I've said, oh yeah, these are males. These are going to be males, and in the end, they were females. But so yeah, I took them and stuck them in there just because of size.
Yeah. You never know till they start breeding. I mean, people say there's ways to tell, but there's only one true way, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you've bred a line of fish, like say you guys get into breeding your velvets, well, once you breed it like 5-6 times, you guys get into like different generations. Let's just say a couple years of breeding those fish, you will get a sense to male and female by just fin shape, and after watching them grow so many times, you'll get a basic idea of a difference of how some people are always like, oh, that's a male, that's a female, just by looking at them. So
I'll agree with that, but I will also say that they can still fool you.
They still can.
Okay. Sure. I've got red covers out there that I know mostly which ones are male and female just by looking at them, but there's those ones that they'll trick you. You'll think it's
I wanted to touch on that a little bit, like from yesterday from back in the day to today. There's a lot of stuff that's changed since I've been back into it. Anyways, there's a lot of new strains. Snows weren't there back in the day, or they were just coming onto the scene. The big thing back then was leopards and leopard snakes and those kind of things. And there's a lot more strains, a lot more crosses, a lot more intermediates, and it just seemed like back then things bred more true. Right now we have a cover pair that they're throwing, I'm guessing, snow babies. So it's different. There's a lot of differences in it from yesterday then to today. There's a lot more people doing it. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's been different.
I've never been big on that either, Mike. But I tell you what, this last batch of classic leopard snowflakes, you get 6-7 different types of fish from one pair.
Wow.
You can understand why a lot of these bigger organizations are doing it this way now with all the
intermediaries. You don't remember that getting those kind of spawns back in 98, 99.
Right.
What you don't remember getting that out of any of the pairs that you had back in 98 and 99, back in those days when you had the hatchery and stuff like that going, do you? No. Things are different.
Like 25% pigeon bloods popping out of a brown base line or vice versa. There's so much of that going on now.
Yeah.
So tell me about your system. Do you have everybody on the same system, or are they on different filtration systems?
Yeah, everybody's on their own system. Everybody's pretty much, we're just running sponge filtration, except in a couple of the larger tanks. The larger tanks, we have a couple canisters.
The hang-ons.
And, hang on box builders and stuff like that. With the larger tanks, the 220 that we have, it seems like we've been struggling to keep nitrates down. I don't know if that's because our stocking ratio and stuff like that we have going. And I've spoke with Carrie and a couple others, and we're probably going to end up putting a sump on it just because of the volume of water. And,
right.
And we're changing water every day, but you could almost notice, and we do tests on it to see and stuff like that. And it seems like with at the max, at the 10-gallon rule, that it's almost in 24 hours that we're starting to get almost to 20 ppm on nitrate.
Right. Okay.
Some good beef heart.
Yeah. And with our water supply and stuff like that, that's going to basically determine how big we get. That and our time. Time is a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, we both have jobs, just like both of you. And back in the day, I did this full time. And it was different then because you could sit there and watch. And both of you guys know this is all at Mitchell's place. I live about 3.5, 4 miles down the road, and I get to spend, you know, a couple hours a night doing water changes and stuff like that. But it's not the same as it was back in the day where they were right down in my basement or in my garage or what have you.
Right.
So he's doing a really good job.
I mean, I don't know. I usually work till about 5, so I get off 5. I get home at 6. He usually gets off at 3, so he gets a good jump on the water change before I get here. You know, he feeds everybody and then starts the water change. And when I get here, I get to pick up on it. You know what I mean? So.
Right. Okay. Well, you guys want to show us around and show us what you've got set up, what you got going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, right where we're sitting, we'll just flip the camera and some of these are carries, some of them are Golden States of Russian.
They're yours now.
Flip the camera.
Uh-oh, we lost them.
You weren't supposed to put it in the water.
Amazon pancakes, we're going to come to your question, I promise you. I do see it, and we will get to it. Aqua Balls, welcome to the stream. Bob, welcome to the stream. Okay, back.
Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We're trying to flip the camera.
Jokes on you, so.
Settings, camera.
It's okay.
This is the one you want.
Hi, Cabby. Welcome.
There we go. Really slow.
Go. Live action now.
Oh,
Can you guys hear us and see us?
Yeah. Well, we see the fish. We don't see you.
There you go.
There we go. This guy right here, that's Classic Left in the back. He's from Cary.
You probably want to get a little closer and let us see the fishes a little better.
Oh, sir. Oh, sir.
This snow right here, that snow's from Cary also.
Oh.
So, Tammy, those are all from Kim. Remember the Classic Stone Cross? So
that's one of Cary's right there.
They're really similar to the ones that we have. They're very similar to the ones we have.
Yeah.
But ours were the Moonstone albino crosses.
Yeah.
Because we have some that definitely look like snow leopards.
Yeah.
Those are some nice looking little babies.
There we go. Now we could hear you.
Oh, you lost sound.
Yeah, we did for a second.
You got turned down.
That is, this is one of the snows from Cary.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like a red and white. It's got a lot of red in it.
Mm-hmm.
But
they were only 2 inches when we got them. And then this one's pretty unique. It looks like a moonstone type pattern to it with a snow base.
Nice. Hi, Dina. Welcome to the stream.
Hi, Dina.
Hi.
Hello, Dina. How you doing?
All right, we'll move along.
We're gonna move along.
Awesome.
Move along.
I love the way you've got it set up. That is amazing.
Yeah, here, I'll get you a nice picture view from up here. I mean, we tried to keep it as most open as possible, you know what I mean?
Right, and ours is more closed in, but we wanted to put the maximum number of tanks that we could in it.
Yeah.
And I think this is a nice way to set it up. So that looks really good.
Thank you.
And I'm a pack rat. My wife already told me. She's like, "You're such a pack rat."
I mean, just come down here. are my favorite. Let me walk in front of you. These are my personal favorite. These are the golden spotted pigeons from Cary. When we got these, they were 2.5 to 3 inches, and now they're pushing 5.5.
Nice. Good
We
job.
just moved them from a 75 to a 125.
Very
Nice.
Doing a good
So,
job.
Mitchell, were they biting you when you put it in?
Are they biting you when they put them in?
Oh yeah, they'll attack you trying to get it.
Oh, and they love these freeze dried blackworm cubes. I'll tell you that. That's their favorite.
Oh yeah. I have them spoiled.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you do.
I know. We go
And we kept doing it.
We go pick fish up off you, Carrie, and they don't want nothing but it. They love freeze dried blackworm cubes.
Well, I'll tell you what. I am really liking the beef part though with the gelatin in it, man.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of white that come in and fill in on them. They're not
right. They're not going to stay yellowy.
right.
I like them that way.
I wish they'd stay like that.
Yeah. But no,
I mean, he's starting to get it.
Yeah,
he's starting
right there.
To get most of the white.
Starting to get some white in them.
Yeah, I wish that didn't happen either. That just they
just kept
look
getting
more pigeon blood again when they do that.
Yeah, they just keep getting bigger and bigger, and they'd stay like that orangish color. That would look sweet.
They look great.
Oh, I mean, they're beautiful. Like I said, these are hands down our favorite.
Nice.
They're
All right,
really
off to the next.
Yeah, these are some melons and pearl albino diamonds from. They're a little bit skittish. Everybody just got moved. Pearl albino diamonds from Golden State. When we got them, they were probably, I don't know, 3 inches. They're pushing 4.5 now.
Good.
They're looking
I like
good.
those pearl diamonds. I've always liked those pearl diamonds.
They're pretty.
Thank you.
Step back a little bit. They're a little bit skittish. They've been moved and stuff the last few days.
Yeah.
Has somebody asking about the background color? What color are you using?
Oh, it's when I go to Lowe's, I'd have to see the color on the can to tell you exactly. It's the second lightest blue you can buy. I mean, the lighter the blue, the better, I think. I mean, it makes everything pop. I like using blue.
Right. Mine's more like Carrie's, so yours is a little lighter than mine.
Yeah.
And these guys are red pigeons, and they're from BA Discus.
I painted over the color, so I don't know.
I painted over the color.
But it's
Well, that just goes to show you both of these tanks. This tank is under a different lighting than that tank.
Yeah.
right. So it looks
Yeah.
great.
Right, it's the exact same paint,
Different lights.
different light. That's more of
Makes
the
it
LED.
definite, iridescent.
Right. Well, actually, mine's more like that color, more of a teal color.
More of a
Actually,
teal.
Yeah.
There's one velvet in here. We ended up with 5 velvets. 2 of them paired off, so we had an odd velvet female, and we have her in there with the red pigeons from BA Discus. There's actually 2 pairs in here, possibly 3, and they keep pecking, keep going out, and they may have spawned when we haven't been around, but I've yet to see eggs, and we're really hoping for something to happen soon. We're at a point where we're probably just going to pull them and put them in 29s and see what they do with each other.
Right.
And I've had some that act like they're going to pair off, but they never lay eggs. But when you put them in a breeder tank, they'll start laying too.
Right. They're in a 125. We have a few, how do you pronounce it?
Potos.
Potos in the top. And down below them, here's one. These guys, I think, are about 4 months old. They're what we have left out of one of the spawns from there that we got from Kerry. They're sorted pigeon bloods. They actually grow brown base every now and then, but
Hi, Shane.
beautiful. They're beautiful fish. Nice shape. They're actually available, believe it or not. These weren't being saved or grown out or anything like that. It's kind of like the last ones that we have left out of that group.
Right.
But they're beautiful and they're different. You know, I mean, this one's more of a golden spotted. If you can see he's starting to get the red pattern to him. And some of them look more like a checkerboard or
Right.
hard to tell. You still got to grow them out a little bit further. Like this one here.
And that's another thing that,
That's more of a regular standard pigeon that.
and what me and Dad was saying, I mean, it's hard. I mean, people are wanting what they want, and you can't tell them exactly what they are until they get as of size for you to actually know what they are, you know?
Right.
Like
And
you're
they look
breeding
really
on
nice, though.
intermediates. Yeah.
What's that, Gary?
I said when you're breeding on a variety of intermediates that throw out different amounts of fish. But if you keep doing it, Mitchell, if you keep breeding that pair and raising the fry and make the right crosses, you'll eventually catch on to what's going to be what as you watch.
Oh, yeah.
You'll learn from what they look like from little to what they'll be like when they get bigger. Anyway, it's a good guess at it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
This right here is was sold as a 250. I'm assuming by the dimensions that it's a 220 gallon. There's a canister filter on it. We have a hang-on box filter on the tank as well, along with 3 sponge filters in it. Keep it good for the future. A few breeding cones. Inside we have there's some snows. There's 3 snows left from Golden State. They're Indian tigers.
Look at those.
There's a
fish.
couple wild crosses in here.
Wow. Very nice.
And
Very
this
nice.
male right here, we were really hoping was going to pair off with one of the snows. Actually, one of our snow pairs, he was really interested in trying to butt in when he was in the tank.
Hey. That's a nice tank.
Thank you. Thank you. It's heavy, I'll tell you that much.
Eventually, what our plan is to actually elevate and raise this tank up and put 275s underneath on this side and a 125 on top and 125 on the bottom.
Okay. So something like we're trying to do in the fish room, we're going to lower our 150s and put 125s on top of our 150s. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have seen your dad's old fish room. He would stack tanks on top of tanks.
I believe it.
Back and forth like Lincoln logs.
Yeah,
yes. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Carrie, just to let you know, it's set up this way right now because I won't let them go and fill my whole basement. But I mean, like I said, we utilize our space and make it the best we can, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a lot
some of these are some snows that we had actually came out of after we seen you, Carrie. And like I said, it looks like they got that moonstone type look to it. Right. This one's a little bit different. It looks more of a snakeskin pattern coming in on it.
Yeah. Fine line. Interesting.
You just got some really nice setups. That's a very pretty
You guys
fish.
could have like meetings over there.
Yeah, you could if you really wanted to. There's enough room
down there.
Yeah.
I wanted to put a table in the middle and then you could walk around the table and have like almost like an island, you know.
Yeah.
But this is the breeding rack.
There's 1029.
Awesome, guys.
Actually, look right now. I think the pair that we got from Carrie's, they're spawning right now.
Leave it up to them.
Oh, they want to show off for the camera.
That was like when I did my fish room. I was trying to breed those blue diamonds, and they would not breed. They would not breed. I'm like, well, hell with this. I'm gonna knock down the damn wall and start construction. Boom, and started breeding. I'm like, okay. So I raised them up during this whole mess. So they're very important to me.
I like the way that's set up with the smaller tanks on top and then the grow outs below it.
Yeah.
And we ended up, we set up for what,
These
30?
guys are about 2 months old.
Oh, awesome. Look at them.
Good job.
Awesome. Hi, Crown Tail. Thanks for that.
Like I said,
They threw a lot of ground base that last spawn. Spawn before that, they were mostly predominantly pigeon blood. This spawn, they threw a lot of ground base.
Right.
Those are pretty. And look at them eating, the little pigs.
like I said, they love them blackworm cubes.
So that only works on that first generation. So you're getting
Yeah.
But if you guys like breed 2 pigeon bloods from that first generation, inbreed brother and sister, you'll lose brown base unless you use one of the brown base again to the pigeon blood.
This is a red cover pair. They actually came to us from Discus via Golden State.
I appreciate everybody putting the questions in, and we are going to get to those after we see all of the fish room.
How they throw a snow base. Here's another one, snow base.
Yeah, they look like snow base.
Yeah. Yeah, not very many, but there's some snow base in there.
Awesome. Awesome. I love seeing the babies.
Yeah.
Those are the red velvets. Yeah, those are
Discus.
the lot discus.
They are beautiful. Holy smokes.
And that is a pair of pigeon snakes from Golden State. They just spawned yesterday. It wasn't very successful. They're still learning. They're young.
Scarlet pigeon snake.
There's a snow pair in here. They're a little bit on the shy side because we had just literally pulled them last week out of the 200 gallon and put them in this tank. Can you
Oh,
get them?
they hug the cone when they're hiding, don't they?
Oh, yeah. They'll cover with anything they have, you know?
Let me get a
Ours do that too when they're upset or mad at us or whatever. They'll just hug that cone. They'll stay
Oh, yeah.
behind it.
I mean, if they were in like the community tank right now with everybody else too, I mean, they definitely like to travel and travel together.
Those are pretty.
Yeah, they are.
Nice.
I seen you, albino, eating that flake.
That's basically the whole fish room as of right now.
There's more back here.
I mean, we got more tanks and stuff, but they're not filled up and stuff like that yet.
Right.
We're running.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yes.
We're running a 150 gallon a day RO unit, pre-filter, carbon filter, and on top of that, we're using a pressure pump.
Yeah.
What happens is inbound water coming up, our inbound water coming from the well pump comes up here and it goes into the pressure pump. From the pressure pump, it leaves the pressure pump and it comes back in and feeds the RO unit and goes through the two pre-fillers. After it goes through the two pre-fillers, it comes back out, comes up and goes into the very first RO membrane. After it goes through the first RO membrane, the wastewater from number one comes over here and goes into a pump. The good water coming out of the unit comes up here.
Okay.
There's two good water lines. There's one, we're actually running two membranes. The wastewater coming out of this membrane comes up here, goes into the way this pressure unit works is it's like a push-pull type system where you're actually, your inbound water, your wastewater, good water, all run through this pump. Second membrane, what we're doing is we're taking our wastewater, running it back into this second membrane, back up to the pump. So in turn, we have two feed lines. It's probably not the greatest on the second membrane because the TDS are really high when it comes out to the wastewater. Right now, it's running.
That's about the wastewater we get. We'd run our live blackworms through with our wastewater to keep them clean, but we don't have live as of right now.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
They're too expensive right now.
Absolutely.
Our water for the breeding pairs. And right now we're only running around 55 gallons. And there's a float switch right here that's mounted in the RO line. So when this barrel fills, this float will come up. And when the float flips up, any remaining RO after we got our water for our breeding pairs comes over to this 250 gallon tote.
Right.
Usually we have it figured out so that after we do our water changes, this is completely empty. By the time our next water change is due between 2 and 3 o'clock or to 4 at the latest the next day, we're sitting right at around 150 to 175 gallons of RO. And then we blend it with our tap water. And our tap water is coming out at around 1,200 TDS. And it's carrying a pH, yeah, it's a little bit high. 1,200 TDS, and it's carrying a pH of about 8.2, 8.3. So with this blend, we're actually able to get it down to about 400.
Right.
400, and it carries a pH of, yeah, right around between 7.5 and 7.7.
Right.
And of course, we got an old anemometer here that we use, and we check our TDS, pH, and conductivity before all of our water changes.
Right.
Right.
This is the back side of the front setup. There's nothing in here yet, but we got a 125 tall, a 50 breeder, and a 75 on the back side, ready to go if we need them, you know.
Always good to have extra tanks.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling him from day one. You know, when we first started getting stock, you know, I was like, hey, we gotta have room for babies, and he said, oh, you ain't gotta worry about that. We'll have room for babies. I said, all right, Dad. I said, we're gonna have to get more tanks. No, we'll figure it out. And next thing you know, I'm finding more tanks.
How it goes.
Yeah.
These guys are Yep. These guys are still under quarantine, and that's why we saved them for last, because we didn't want to cross-contaminate or anything. Actually, they are all undergoing a frazzing treatment right now, but we recently just got these spotted fish in from the lot.
There's two. There's two
Pantera leopards, 2 taipans,
triple A's, and
spotted snow.
the small spotted snow.
Right. Oh,
Dad's more a fan of the Pantera leps. I love the triple taipans.
they're pretty.
Crossbreed.
Crossbreed them.
Yeah, look, he's thick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Diego,
that's a 7-inch fish.
welcome to the stream, y'all. I've missed seeing everybody. Guys, we got a lot of people asking questions, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll go back over here and we can answer some questions.
Yeah. Do it to it.
All right, we're back over at the table.
Awesome. So Cabby wants to know what their staple diet is.
Actually, it's beef heart. Beef heart is their main diet. They get that in the morning when Mitchell wakes up to go to work. He goes through and he feeds everybody beef heart, and everybody has to eat the beef heart before they get a cube or bloodworm. So they actually get beef heart in the morning, and then after they've all finished, before he leaves and goes out the door, he usually gives them a cube or a treat
or something. Yeah.
something else to take them through the day. And then,
Your old lady and my old lady.
right, our significant others, we've conned into getting involved in this whole venture. And the smaller guys, the babies and the little guys, they'll come down and they'll actually feed them. They don't want to touch beef heart and stuff like that.
Right.
They'll come down and put it.
Cubes for me too.
Yeah, but that's about all you can get. Cubes, maybe a frozen brine shrimp cube or something like that. And then when I come home in the evening before I start water changes at around 2 o'clock, they all get fed beef heart again. And it's the exact same regimen that it was in the morning. And they get, after their beef heart, they'll get either a cube or bloodworms. Try to rotate it, mix it up a little bit. But their staple diet is the beef heart. And our beef heart is made up of, obviously, of course, beef heart. It's about 60-40 beef heart to actually Great Lakes king salmon. And of course, there's other fillers and vitamins that are mixed in with that.
Right. Alternative for blackworms, I think it's going to be beef heart. I mean, that's what everybody's going to right now because they can't get the blackworms.
Yeah.
So that would be your alternative.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking it. I'm gonna make it today.
Rammer B said, I remember that old fish room. It was totally blown away that so many tanks would fit in a basement. I think he's talking about your fish room, Michael.
Who is it now?
Rammer B.
Rammer B.
Who?
One more time, Tammy.
It says Rammer B.
Rammer B.
Brian Ram.
Brian Rammer.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
I do.
he said you couldn't shove another tank in your basement.
No, back in the day, that was back when I was doing it full time, and
Stacked, man, long way, sure. I swear to God, I freaked out when I went down. I'm like,
I'll never forget the first day that I met you. I mean, it took a while, you know. That's kind of why I posted those photos of like some of the. What happened was I lost the computer and hard drive that had all of our old stuff on it. And I remember back in the day, the very first time that you came over and we met and we hit it off and we became, what was really weird and people couldn't understand it is that we were best friends, but competitors in the business. If I had a problem, I called you. You had a problem, you called me, and we talked every night when we were doing water changes. I mean, those were the days, you know. And I remember running at the time. Our old hatchery was in Cleveland, and you know, you're still at your same place there in Detroit. We were about 3 hours away, and we used to go and exchange fry. We'd meet halfway at a rest stop, and yeah, those were the days. But yeah, so yeah, you couldn't have fit another tank in the basement. No, there was racks upon racks. Everything was shoulder width. He won't let me do it.
No. Well, we can go a little bit further here, like I said, and I don't have a problem with that. But like I said, we're gonna stack everything on top of each other.
Oh, we could get rid of the pool table that's over there, and
Hey, you can put tanks under the pool table, okay?
Well, that might be doable.
the only thing is you can only go as far as you can take care of them. If you can't take care of them correctly, that's where you're limited.
I mean, honestly, right now, for us to water change daily and take care of these fish, for the amount of tanks and stuff like that in the afternoon, it's 2.5 hours. You know, it's what it is. To water change everybody and feed everybody, it takes about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But I mean,
do you use a brush on your tanks or rollers?
I use a roller.
Okay.
I'll brush it. I used to be real picky and try to frame them out like real nice. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
No. But anyways, I used to be real nice with a brush and cut it all out. But yeah, no, I just roll them. And rolling puts a better, a lay of paint on the tank. Right.
I agree to that too, Carrie. I rolled every one of these, and all you do is you sit there, let them dry, paint them again, sit there, let them dry, paint them again until they look good.
Yep. Yeah, even when you put water in them, they
spray them, huh? You spray them, Tammy?
Tammy sprays.
We spray.
I might have to try that one time. What do? You just mask off the frame and spray it?
Yeah, just tape it off and.
I might have to try that way. Like I said, I've rolled all of them, and like I said, I definitely did a number on the frames. But
well, yeah. I mean, you do not want to spray your tanks in your house.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably do a small one, but you don't want to do like 5-6 tanks, spray them all in your basement or in your house. If you can go outside, then that'd be ideal. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just say our patio is very colorful out and back. But no, we when we're doing the back of it, we lay it on its side so that the back is at the top, so that you don't have a lot of runs, and that keeps it more flat. And the same with the bottom, we just flip it over upside down so that it's still flat. You don't get the runs that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of paints everyone using. I just use acrylic latex.
We use Rust-Oleum. So, all right, next question. Frank Castle wants to know your thoughts on freeze-dried blackworms. Are they safe?
What's that?
Are freeze-dried blackworms safe?
Are they safe? Yes, 100%. After it goes through the freeze-drying processes, actually, I believe that live blackworms are safe if you take care of them and process them correctly.
They were asking about bloodworms, though.
Bloodworms.
Mm-hmm.
We're not feeding freeze-dried, but I assume the freeze-drying process would actually take care of that. The bloodworms that you've seen us feed in this video were from Hikari. And I've been feeding Hikari bloodworms since, probably before I even met you, Carrie. I mean, that was probably like 95, 96. And I've never had an issue. I've never had an issue with them.
We don't use freeze-dried. We just use the frozen bloodworms, so.
Yeah, that's what we used to.
If I was to use freeze-dried bloodworms, I would try to use Hikari freeze-dried bloodworms. That's what I
Actually, yeah. If you look around, and you'll see a lot of the freeze-dried foods that are available now are actually higher in crude protein than their frozen counterparts, even down to brine shrimp. We're kind of experimenting with Dina Edwards, and she sent us some freeze-dried brine shrimp cubes. They actually have a higher crude protein and crude analysis than the frozen or actually even live.
Right.
They're a little bit. Don't everybody run out and buy them yet. We're still playing with them. I mean, I'm assuming it's a different cube. They're not the same. They're not as soft. They're more of like a crustacean type cube than you would see from the blackworm.
Right.
The blackworm cubes are softer. The
spongy, yeah.
Yeah, they're almost like a harder cube, and when you go to try and press them to the side of the glass, they seem to want to break up. They'll stick, but as soon as the fish comes up to hit them, they'll run off with the whole cube.
Right. Okay, I'm going to go all the way back up to the beginning to the first question, and this was from Amazon Pancakes. And I saved this one for the last, or almost the last one, because it's a very long question. But so for those of you who have a 125, which I think we all have 125s, choice of filtration you prefer when using the 10-gallon per discus rule, so 1 discus per 10 gallon. He's debating switching over to 3 AquaClear 110s versus the FX6 and 1 AQ 110.
I'm more of a fan of sponge filters and the AquaClear hang-ons than I am a canister filter. Canister filters for me, they're
Garbage.
Nitrates. It seems like they're nitrate factories. They get forgotten very easily. They don't get changed very often.
And there is a lot of maintenance on them because all of our big tanks have canisters. We keep 2 canisters on our 125s and 150s, and then we have the sponge filters as well.
Hey, they work awesome if you can stay on top of them. If you can stay on top of them,
definitely.
You don't mind the maintenance. I mean, anything can work. You can make anything work. There's just like with discus, so many rules with discus, but so many more exceptions.
I like the sponge filters and the hang-ons. I mean, sponges are pretty easy to clean. You clean them with the tank water, pop them back in. You know, they're ready to go again. And then your hang-ons, it's easy enough to lift the top up, pull your sponge out, clean it, and drop it back down in, and you're ready to go, you know?
Something happens with your blower or your air supply, you still got filtration, you still got water moving in the tank. Those are the benefits from that.
That's the reason we keep the sponge filters in, even though we have canisters or hang on the backs, because we do have hang on the backs on some of our, especially our fry tanks and stuff. We want extra filtration. But with the canisters, I think the biggest mistake that people make is they don't remove the floss and replace it enough.
Yeah. Yep.
As long as you're not touching your bioballs and you're not messing with your ceramics, you can take that floss out and replace it with clean floss, because most of your parasites, if you want to talk about parasites in the canister, which most of them are not in the canister, would sit in that. They're not going to sit in your ceramics and your bioballs. They're sitting in your floss. Yeah. And you do need to take that floss out and replace it every so often.
I agree.
Yes.
Me too.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to go back to, and I think I've got all the questions. If you had a question and I didn't answer it, please put it back in, because I'm not seeing it. Shane Lash came in, and Shane said, just want to hop in the comments and say I'm Mitchell's girlfriend, and I want to shout out to him for working his butt off every single day after working, usually 50 plus hours a week, and still giving the fish his all. Amazing.
Thanks, babe.
Amazing.
Bravo.
Also want to say hello to Bob Fryer. Thank you for coming in, Bob.
Yeah.
Tammy, one thing I wanted to do before we left is I wanted to talk a little bit about what has happened with Ohio Valley Discus and Friends.
Absolutely.
And it was a Facebook group that we had started, and at the time, Curie kind of didn't have a lot of control over at 411-911, and we invited a bunch of the members over. And being that we were getting back into the hobby and we had the relationship that we had, we felt that we could build a community of home breeders, and we understand the influence of importing and things like that. But this was basically an idea of ours to where we could breed and supply, not even supply, breed and have fun in the hobby, pay our bills, and work ourselves together. And it has taken off to a point where we're probably going to need another moderator. And I was wondering if you would be interested in joining us over at OBD and becoming one of our moderators. Please
no pressure,
say
Danny,
yes.
no pressure.
Oh, no pressure. Let's do this live, okay?
We could do more of these little YouTube things and stuff like that. Maybe introduce some of our moderators and stuff like that to the group. I'm happy for everybody that has watched and tuned in today. I'm happy for everybody that is signed up on our group and our pages. And happy Discus keeping to everybody. I'll talk to you later, my friend Carrie. Tammy,
All right.
thanks for having us. It's been a joy, and I hope you like our fish room. Mitch,
Absolutely.
Thumbs up.
Guys, thanks for coming on Discus Talk. And the answer is yes, by the way. I didn't even get to say it.
Bravo.
I will probably continue the stream for a few more minutes after everybody's gone, just to answer the rest of the questions. Some of them were directed at me, in particular, I think. So I'll probably do that just so you guys know.
if there's anything that was directed towards us and our setup, or anything that we had that we didn't have time for, didn't get to, just forward them over to us, message us, and we'll get back to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And everybody go over to Facebook, join the group. It's Ohio Discus and Friends, or Ohio Valley
Discus.
Discus and Friends. Join up. We'll all be over there. Any other questions that you have for any of us can be asked there. And we'll see y'all next time, okay?
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Talk to you guys
Thanks,
later.
everybody.
Have a good one, Michael.
See ya.
Yep, see ya.
Bye, guys. All right, Tammy.
Carrie?
I'm going to let you have at it. Okay?
Awesome. There's a few more things I want to mention. I got to mention some stuff for the forums too. So that's kind of the reason I'm hanging around. So, Carrie, thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you for inviting me. As always, it's a pleasure. It was good. And yeah, hopefully we can do a little bit more of this now and get things done. I'll see you later. Take care.
All right. Bye, Carrie.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, I'm back with you. The one question I see right here is how often do we change the floss? It kind of depends on the load of the aquarium. If you've got a heavy load, you're going to need to change your floss. I think we do ours about every 3 to 4 weeks. There's a ton of, yes, absolutely. It does. Thank you, Diego, for showing that. That's the link for the Ohio Valley Discus and Friends group. You guys head over there. And I wanted you guys to see this t-shirt, Discus Talk. It's got my name on it. And on the back, I don't know if you can see it, it's got some discus. And these shirts are going to be going on sale very soon at the Simply Discus forum. And the announcement will be made in the Simply Discus Facebook group as well, which is the sister group for Ohio Valley Discus. So if you're not a group of those, make sure you get in those if you are interested in getting a t-shirt. It does have your name on it. And there's several different designs that he's doing, and these are being done by Brian Wilhite. This one was made as my Christmas present for Discus Talk. That was one of the things. And getting to Ohio Valley Discus, I think that's probably it. Now, in the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing a couple more live streams. I'm also going to be putting out more videos. I've got a schedule up right above the light here, the light switch. I've got a schedule up for some things I'm going to be doing. I think the next video that I'm doing is going to be a short video on the quarantine process that we use and some things that you can kind of do to shorten my quarantine procedure. The reason we do that is to make it so that no matter what fish you're bringing into your tank, whether it's a discus or whether it's a Corridora or an angelfish or a pleco, you won't have to worry as much about the cross contamination. I don't think that there's anything that is 100% to prevent it, but I think you can get upwards of a 90%, 95%, probability that you're not going to have any issues if you follow a good quarantine process. And a lot of people think that mixing Asians and Germans, that's what causes it. It's not really. It's not this fish versus this discus versus this discus. It's any fish versus a discus. Any fish can bring these bacteria into the water that can cause your fish to get sick. They can bring worms into the water that can make your fish get sick. They can bring flukes in. They can bring lots and lots of different protozoans in that can make your fish sick. So the next video you'll see come up, and that will not be a live stream. That is going to be just a video. It's going to be on my quarantine process and some things you can do to shorten it a little bit. Amazon Research Center, thank you for joining us. We have finished up for the day, but as always, it will be on my YouTube channel. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out for a few minutes afterwards. Remember to go over to Simply Discus forums and check it out. The Simply Discus Facebook group, which is the sister group for the Ohio Valley Discus and Friends. I recommend being in both groups and on the forums. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.